So University of Chicago essentially has developed the system to assist artists to fight proactively against web scraping AI models, right? And what does this mean, right? So we know the artists are up in arms saying, "Hey, you guys are stealing our work and trying to generate AI images, which has a fingerprint that ties it back to our original art. And where is the consent? Where is the compensation? All kind of questions are being asked, right?" So the first model, so essentially the news came out, I think probably good 5 to 7 days ago, and I was starting to play with it to see how effective this is. So essentially, in this picture, I've just displayed the original. I just took my profile picture, which with some stylization that I applied, and then I did the glazing operation on it with their software, and then I did glazing and night shading, and we'll go into the differences between three. So at the very high level, they all look the same. That's the beauty of this technology, right? So there is, as an artist, you don't want visual damage because you are modifying this to poison pill this AI model. You still want to publish this on the internet. So if I'm an artist, I want to take glazed and night shaded and publish it and forget about it because I know for sure it's not going to be stolen without my consent, right? Because it has the element of corruption in it, right? It's going to spoil the model. So first thing, it is immune to scaling, cropping, changing of filters, all kind of other effects, right? So it's very resilient technique. At least that's the basic foundation of it. The glazed one helps you protect your style, right? If you're an artist and you're drawing things and you have developed a unique style, and like for example, the color scheme or the strokes of the art brush is different or whatever the style is, right? The glazed is a kind of a defensive mechanism to prevent people from copying style. The nightshade is on the offense. Essentially, it proactively classifies your artwork into a different concept so that over time the model accumulates bunch of these images. It's going to start produce bad results. Like for example, this image might look like a dog or a cat to the model because it's fooling the model into thinking it's something else. So it's more proactive poisoning the model. That's essentially the overall concept. So my little test was to, again, I didn't go through all the process of poison pilling my own training and did all that, right? So I was looking for a shortcut, quick way to demonstrate how this works. So I took stable diffusion and clip library, which basically takes an image and spits out what it thinks the text is in there. So you're querying the image, much like ChatGPT. Say, hey, what do you see? It's not that what do you call that accurate, but it still gives you. So if you look at this one, so I threw the original image and I can query the clip to say, hey, what do you see in this, right? So it says a mosaic portrait of a baseball player in a circle with a name tag says Los Angeles. Anthony Davis is the artist and highly detailed art. This is original tag. So how is this relevant, right? For a web scraping algorithm, what it does, it scrapes off an image from your website. It takes your alt text. Typically, people put the alt text in there, say, hey, what it is, right? And then it'll take that and feed it to this clip library or Deep Guru, or there's Blip. There's many of these text image to text tag conversion libraries, right? It's going to say, hey, what do you think? And it's a neural network. It'll take this and route it and give you text. And it gives out this kind of a description. That's where we are starting. So my test was, okay, if I take that and generate, it's not going to be exactly looking like me because I have variations in there, or I have given it freedom. But you can see it has retained the style, the mosaic style, right? So that's the style that's on top of the person. So now the next step is okay. Now that has happened. Now let me do the next one, which is going to be a glazed image. Let's see what happens. So the original is the mosaic art of a baseball player, blah blah blah. The artist is, we are focusing on the artist name and the type of art, character portrait, ASCII art, whatever, right? So if glazed, then it should change the style. That's what we are going after. Ask it again, portrait of a man with baseball, and artist is the same, but look, it changed it to pointillism. It's a different style of painting. So if
So
you
it
try
changed the
to,
style basically. It's
yeah,
masking the style, and or
it's
sorry to
masking,
say masking. Yeah,
right? It's
for sure.
altering, or it's changing it's leading the AI to believe it's a different style. So
Got it.
now it's going to train on this, and eventually, when someone asks for that, it's going to produce that. So it's not going to copy your style, type of thing, right? The third one is glazed and nightshaded. You can see the image has lost resolution because of multiple iterations, right? My eye is not very clear. Maybe it's not coming through on the screen share, but um, it has a little bit of a quality loss. But if you're
Mhm.
taking that, let's see what it can do. So in this case, now you can see it has changed the artist name. So the Nightshade is supposed to change the concept itself. So it has completely changed the artist. The style has already changed. It has retained the glaze, right? But it has also gone one step further, changing it to a different artist, right? So if you generate with that, the AI is going to think this is what was fed, the style of art or whatever. So long story short, it gives you the first round of protection against like an automated scraping. It's going to slow this whole process down, is the theory, right? um, my take on it is it's awesome, but it's also like the early days of antivirus virus type of a thing, right? So it goes on, and it went on for a very long time, and it's still going on, right? So what's the next move from the web scraping AI community? We don't know. What do you think, Rajni?
Uh, I think that's very cool. How so just to for people don't understand what a poison pill is, the I'll give you the my understanding of it is you you put that as part of your image or your contract or whatever it is, right? So if somebody accepts it, then they're going to have to deal with the changes that is causing. But to your point, I'll just use the artist thing, right? So if somebody scrapes his image without your permission, they can't really get your style, and then also based on the images you're showing right now, you could transform it into a completely different thing. So now what happens is somebody who's been training on your model, they if they want to recreate your model or with your style, they won't be able to do it. Then they will go back and say, hey Balaji, can I get rights to use your art, your design? So you either get
Correct.
compensated or you are said this is
Consent.
deliberate,
Yeah.
Balaji. So yeah, that
You need
consent.
permission,
Perfect.
you need consent, or you need permission, or you need the compensation, or you have to get back to the original artist. This is forcing them to get back, talk to the people, right, who created this art. This is another funny image. I Not funny, but it's a good example of how it shows what happens when you poison. So this, if you look at this table, right, if you start at the dog with a stable diffusion XL model, with 50 poison sample, the dog starts to deteriorate, and with 100, it becomes a cat. So if someone queries your trained model, give me a photo of a dog, it's going to produce a photo of a cat, and people obviously are going to lose interest in the model, right? Similar examples, right? The car becomes a cow, handbag is a toaster. It's just completely ruining the queries that coming into it. And with the art,
So
it's changing the concept of the art. Like you go from cubism to anime, it just completely
cartoon.
messes
Yeah.
with the stuff, right? It just messes with the prompt.
So the how will the so is the only way the person who's scraping without permission going to know when the customers are saying, hey, by the way, when I ask for a dog, he's giving me a cat? Or can the model also, as you're doing this, where do you actually catch this? What I
That's
mean,
the
let's say I'm doing this without
right.
permission. Huh?
Right, that's the thing, right? So first, the community who's scraping the material have to now detect this, right? Because what they are saying is this, right? If you're an artist, go glaze a nightshade, and first place
Hmm.
you plant the seed of the poison pill is in your alt tag. So because that's the low hanging fruit, any scraper is going to pick up the alt tag and not even query this AI model, right? So what they are saying is that you're gonna don't tell that you glazed it. You put up a photo of a dog, and label it as dog, but the AI will see it as a cat. So they take, without knowing, they take it and scrape it and include it. It's going to over time kill the AI model, right? So that's the first attack that they are trying to do with the proactive defense. So where they will detect, I read, went into the Reddit community, right, and then trying to figure out how are these guys did. So they're already proactively trying to detect this. So I'm sure they'll find a way, and it has to evolve over time.
Yeah, just like when we did the Napster to music downloads, everything was free. Everybody was all free for all for everything, and then we formed some structure, whether it was iTunes or being
Right.
able to buy these music, and now they've gone even further. Where okay, I'm going to give you the music for free. I'm going to make my money in my concerts that I'm going to have, right? So I think the business model will evolve, but it's interesting to see that playing out in the AI world. So it'll be definitely something that we need to keep a close eye on.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely good news in a sense that it's going to slow down without artist consent, right? So they have to come back and get their permission or pay them.
Agree. There is not really any protection for them, and people they need to get paid too. They need to feed their families too, right? So it makes sense. And I'm pretty sure this is can you I don't know if it'll expand to, but all of the articles written by people that you can just scrape and say, I know and summarize
Exactly.
differently and reproduce as your own content. So all that I think at least we need to reference to say I got the source from here. So it's a lot of the things I read is from a lot of materials that people put together. It's not the original content, otherwise definitely tell them where it is, but they bring it together and then we summarize it in an even easier format. So I think we're very early in this process, but those are some really cool tools that artists can use to protect their livelihood or their style, right? Without permission. I'm pretty sure most of them will have images that they can give as long as they have some say in it, what they can use and what they can use. So